Hello everyone, I am going to be I'm going to be ranking 31 on 27 favourite franchises. And of course, happy birthday to me. I suck. I'm going to do another 31, but on the 27th, which is my birthday, that November 27th. But favourite franchises, here are the franchises. We got Fast and Furious, only 5 to Hobbs and Shaw, because the rest of I'm just not going to talk about that. Men in Black, that's including Men in Black International. Spider-Man, that is including Spider-Verse. Scream. Deadpool. Now we've got a bunch of Adam Sandler movies like The Wedding Singer, Happy Gilmore, Anger Management, Big Daddy, 51st Dates, The Waterboy, and Mr. Deeds. Okay, so now you know the franchises. And if you don't know what 31 is, it's basically I rank all these franchises into one. I know that Adam Sandler movies isn't like in a franchise, but for me, I'm gonna put it into a franchise. Well, like a bunch. Yeah. Let's go. 31. 31. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Okay, so The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is 31. I mean, this movie is not bad. I mean, I did have enjoyment in this movie. Like, these movies are like, okay, good, great, then amazing, and then well. And I mean, this is an okay movie. Like, none of these movies are terrible and trash. Like, I like all these movies. But, I like this movie. The villain of Electra is okay. I think the script was okay. The cast was amazing. I thought Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, well, they're basically the same character, but is so good. For my grade, I'll give it a B-. Number 30, we have Spider-Man 3. Like I said about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I love all these movies. And this 31 in this movie, I mean, I think it's okay. I think there are some mistakes in this movie like Amazing Spider-Man had as well. I mean, like, Tobey Maguire is my second favourite Spider-Man, and this might be my third Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie, but I still think this is an okay film. For my grade, I'll give it a B-. And also, I dislike that dance. 29, we have Scream 3. Okay, so Scream 3 is not the best, but I still think this is a still okay movie. I mean, I like the killer of Roman Bridger. I liked him in the OG 3, which is Sidney Prescott, Gale Weathers, and Officer Dewey. They're still very good. But in this movie, they were okay. In this movie, like the first part of the movie, how Cotton and his girlfriend died by Ghostface, I mean, they were not the best kills in this movie, but I still had fun watching this movie. For my grade, I'll give it a B-. Number 28, we have Men in Black 2. Men in Black 2 is good. I mean, people probably think this movie is not good, but I enjoyed watching this movie. I mean, the story was okay, the script was good, the aspect of this movie was good, and I mean, this movie would be a bit higher if the villains were a bit better. But this is still a good movie. For my grade, I'll give it a B-. Number 27, we have Mr. Deeds. Okay, this movie I thought was actually good. I mean, my first time watching this movie, I did not really like this movie. But when I watched this for my second time, I enjoyed it. And then the third time, when I watched it, I found it a bit more fun to watch. Then now, I think this movie is still really good. For my grade, I'll give it a B+. Number 26, Okay, never mind. Number 26, we have Men in Black International. Men in Black International is a movie I did enjoy. I mean, people maybe might disagree with me, but I did like Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson as the two main characters. I mean, they were good, and I had a fun time watching this movie. For my grade, I'll give it a B+. 25, we have The Amazing Spider-Man. Okay, so The Amazing Spider-Man was my second time watching this movie before 31 on 27. I mean, I think this was a fun time to watch. It felt like a bit sciencey kind of feel to this movie, which I like. I mean, I like how Peter Parker was made in this movie. And for my grade, I'll give it a B+. 24, we have Men in Black 3. This movie, I mean, I do like this movie. I think it was a fun time to watch and such an enjoying time. Like, I like the time travel aspect to this movie. Like, I love the villain, Boris. I think he was actually not a bad villain. And maybe my favourite Men in Black villain. I just like the character and I like the aspect of this movie. Like, I mean, after watching Men in Black 2, I mean, I was like, yes, I'm going to watch Men in Black 3 because I enjoy this movie. For my grade, I'll give it a B+. Number 23, we have Scream 4. I mean, I already done my review for this movie last month for Spooktober. And when I watch this movie again, I still love this movie from this day. I mean, for this movie, and down to 16, like, I think they are great, and this movie is great. I mean, I don't know if people agree, but I think this movie is not better than Scream 2, but it is better than Scream 3, by a mile. But this movie really surprised me because of Scream 3. I mean, I did find that movie okay, but this movie was great. I mean, this story and script were great. The cast was phenomenal, but one of the big three should have died to make it a bit more sad. For my grade, I'll give it a B+. 22, we have Fast and Furious 6. Okay, Fast and Furious 6 was a great movie to watch. Like, I liked the action in this movie. I mean, the cast was still fantastic in this movie. I mean, I liked how Letty was brainwashed, and I liked the bad, and how she was on the bad side. I like that to the movie. Like I said, I liked the story to this movie. I found it enjoyable. The runtime was great. I mean, everyone should watch this movie. For my grade, I'll give it an A. 21, we have Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2, okay, this movie was great. Like, come on, it's Deadpool. Of course I love this movie. I liked Fireflash, who's actually Julian Dennison, who was from New Zealand, where I am from. And Julian Dennison, I love him because it is not because he is from New Zealand. It is because he does have great acting skills. Like, he will be in the new Godzilla vs. Kong movie. And I mean, I am hyped for that movie, but I loved the cast of this movie. And it had a great soundtrack. This movie, I liked. Damn. What's his name? Cable. That's his name. Cable. That is it. That is it. That is it. I think he was a great character in this movie. For my grade, I'll give it an A. Number 20, we have Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, or slightly known as Hobbs and Shaw. Okay, Hobbs and Shaw, I mean the first spin-off in the Fast and Furious franchise, and I was excited. Like, I do like the characters of Hobbs and Shaw, and I like Idris Elba, who is a villain, and I think he did a great job. I mean, I hope they do a second one because I thought this movie was great. And I mean, this is not the best Fast and Furious movie. Does not mean I dislike this movie. I enjoyed this movie. For my grade, I'll give it an A. Number 19, we have The Water Boy. You can do it! Sorry. I love that saying. That Water Boy I absolutely loved. This movie, I think this movie outstands to the other movies on this list. And I love the story and the script to this movie. I mean, this was a great and fun time to watch. I mean, everyone should watch this movie. I'll give the grade an A. Number 18, we have Scream 2. Scream 2, okay, so I love the sequel more than the fourth and the third. I mean, this is a fantastic sequel to Scream. I mean, I have already reviewed this movie, so that is why I'm not saying much about this movie. I will give the grade an A. Number 17, we have Anger Management. I love this movie. Anger Management, it might be a film that people might not like, but I love this movie. I love Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson in the same movie, and the two main characters. Okay, I'm hooked. This movie I really enjoyed. I think everyone should watch this movie, because people might like this movie. And the story to this movie was great. The cast was great, and the score for this movie was amazing, and the soundtrack was fantastic. As well, I'll give it a grade A-. Number 16, we have Billy Madison. Okay, so Billy Madison is not a bad film. I found it really enjoyable. I really enjoyed this movie. I found the story on how Billy Madison has to repeat his whole school from start to finish to prove his rich father that he is illegal to inherit his fortune. And I enjoyed this movie. And I mean, it should be higher on Rotten Tomatoes. 40%? Wow, that is low. I mean, it should be at 60 or 70. But 40, wow, I thought this movie was amazing and fun to watch. And I'll give the grade an A-. Number 15 is The Wedding Singer. Okay, so I would put this movie higher on the Adam Sandler movie, all Adam Sandler movies ranked, but this is 31 on 27 favourite franchises. So yeah, this is where it lands. This movie was amazing. It is definitely great. I mean, this was a great time to watch. And I'll give the grade an A-. Enough said. 14. We have 50 First Dates. Come on, this movie is fantastic. I love this movie so much. I think this movie is phenomenal, and the cast was amazing. The story was amazing, the script was surprisingly great, and the humour to this movie is fantastic. I will give the grade an A-. 13, we have The Fate of the Furious. Okay, so The Fate of the Furious, I mean, when I watched this movie in theatres, I thought it was a bit disappointing, but when I watched it coming up to 31 on 27, and I mean, I love this movie. Even that I found it disappointing, but well, I really enjoyed this movie. I had no clue why I thought I found it disappointing when I saw it in theatres. I love this movie, so that is why I'll give the grade an A-. Number 12, we have Fast 5. Okay, Fast 5 is my second favourite Fast and Furious movie, not including 1, 2, 3, 4. But this would be still in second. But this movie I really loved. Because, okay, the start of this movie, I don't want to say anything, but just in case people haven't seen this movie. But if you have, you know what I'm talking about. I loved Luke Hobbs' character in this movie. I think he was a badass boss to take down Dom's crew. I will give this movie a grade A+. A-. 11, we have Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay, so Spider-Man Far From Home is amazing. I mean, people probably disagree with me, but I thought this movie is fantastic. I love Spider-Man suits in this movie. I love the villain of Mysterio, who in real life is Jake Gyllenhaal. What? I love that. I love that because of Jake Gyllenhaal. He's such a great actor. And when I'm going to watch this movie, I'm pumped because of Jake Gyllenhaal as well as other stuff like the cast. I love the cast. When I watched the trailer, I was just pumped to watch this movie. So that is why I'll give it a grade A minus. Okay, now we're in our top 10. Number 10, we have Deadpool. Deadpool. Okay, so this movie is such a fantastic movie. Like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, aka Wade Wilson, was a perfect fit. I think he was amazing as that role. The villain of this movie, Ajax, is amazing villain. And Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, and Colossus is amazing in this movie. And again, with Ryan Reynolds, he made this movie have amazing humor. I think he made this movie to go on number 10, as well as other stuff like the story. It was a perfect story to tell, and the script doesn't have any troubles with the script. I love the script, and there's nothing negative about this movie to say. So that is why I'll give this movie a grade A minus. Number 9, we have Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming, okay, this movie was amazing. I love this movie. I'm just surprised on how much I love this movie. Because, it is in 31 and somewhere in the 20s for Amazing Spider-Man, the series. I was a bit nervous because of the Amazing Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man 2 were in my, 20th or 31s. And I was a bit nervous walking into this movie, but I really enjoyed this movie. I love the villain of Vulture. I think Michael Keaton is amazing as Vulture. And I like Ned. He was a nice, side character, into this movie. I loved MJ's character as well. She was fantastic and a perfect casting choice. And Flash Thompson, his casting was not perfect, but I can work with that. Everyone should watch this movie. So that is why I'll give the grade an A minus. Number 8, we go. Just tap it in. Give it a little tap. Happy Gilmore. Come on, this has to be my top 10. I loved this movie till I die. This movie was just a fun and perfect film to watch. I loved Adam Sandler in this movie. He did a fantastic job. Happy Gilmore was amazing in this movie. I think he is my second favorite Adam Sandler role he did. I loved the story to this movie. Come on, it's Happy Gilmore. I think everyone will have fun watching this movie because it's just fun. The soundtrack to this movie was fantastic. The score for this movie was amazing, and the runtime was perfect, and none of it was wasted. I think I'll give the grade an A minus. Number 7, we have Big Daddy. Big Daddy, okay, I have 3 reasons why this is a bit better than Happy Gilmore. Number 1, the story was phenomenal. This was just a perfect story. Number 2, the cast. I loved the cast in this movie. I think the cast was my favorite cast in an Adam Sandler movie. Number 3, Adam Sandler's role. In my opinion, this is my favorite Adam Sandler role he played. He was perfect in this movie, and I have one more. Number 4, the script. I think it was a perfect script. I think it was a great script. There is nothing negative about this movie. Come on. It did make me sad because of the ending. That was really sad. I will give this movie a grade A+. Number 6, we have Spider-Man. This movie, I would put this at number 5, but number 5 just beats it by just a smidge better. This movie, I just loved. This movie, I watched it leading up to this ranking, and it was hard to put it somewhere because I loved this movie. I mean, I found it a classic, and the story was really good. I love Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker. He was the best about this movie, as well as Harry Osborn, who played Willem Dafoe. Yeah, he was amazing. He was the best about this movie, and there were other good things about this movie, like the script. I mean, at least it was not jumbled up. I think it was a great script, and the action to this movie was very good. And the villain of Norman Osborn, also known as Green Goblin, he was a great villain, and he was played by Willem Dafoe, of course. Yes, such a great pick. I will have to give this movie an A+. Now in our top fives. Number 5, we have Scream. Okay, so Scream is number 5. This movie is fantastic. It is gold. This movie is not yet a masterpiece, but it's really close to be called a masterpiece. But it is called a classic to me. I found this movie fantastic. I mean, before I was going to watch this movie, I had no idea on what it was, because I didn't watch this movie before. Well, that was like 6 years ago. But anyway, I love this movie. I found it enjoyable and fun to watch. Like, people should definitely watch this movie. I found Sydney Prescott a badass, and she looks like she's like ready to fight. She was amazing. I will give this movie an A. I'll give it an A+ for my grade. I'll move it to an A+, yes. Because for my review I did it an A-, but I move it to an A+. Number 4, we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is my number 4. Okay, so this movie, I had so much fun watching this movie. I mean, it was such a surprise of a film. I mean, I love this story. One, how there was a Spider-Verse, and like the story to Miles Morales was amazing. And I mean, everyone should watch this movie. It was just a fun time to watch it. Everyone will love this movie. So that is why I'll give the grade an A+ for my grade. Number 3, we'll give it to Furious 7. Okay, this movie I do love. I think it is straight awesome movie to watch. It is my favourite Fast and Furious movie so far. I'll review all of them, ranking the franchise when Fast and Furious 9 comes out, also called as F9. I mean, for my grade, I'll give it an A+. Number 2, we have Spider-Man 2. This movie is phenomenal. This is my favourite Spider-Man movie of all time. And my 3rd favourite comic book movie, second. Well, this might be called comic book movie, which is my number 1. And that is my number 1. But I can't say what it is. Oh, wait, no, you guys already know. For my grade for Spider-Man 2, I'll give it an A+. I mean, you already know what it is. It's Men in Black. Men in Black is my number 1. Here are some reasons why. Number 1, had so much fun with this movie. It was just fun and entertaining to watch. 2, the duo of Agent J and Agent K. I loved them so much. They were just fun to watch on the screen. It was my favourite movie. It is one of my favourite movies of all time. I like the villain of Edgar the Bug. He was amazing. I mean, my favourite is Boris. I think he is my favourite villain. But, Edgar the Bug is up there. Number 3. This movie is phenomenal and just a classic. It was just amazing. Everyone should watch this movie because people might actually like this. And finally, I can actually call this movie a masterpiece. For my grade, I'll give it an A+. Thank you for listening to my review of 31 on 27 favourite franchises. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll be doing 31 on the 25th next month for Christmas. So you better watch out for that. Hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe to my channel. Be a big help. I'll be doing some other reviews. And yeah, peace out. Thank you for watching my video. Goodbye.